Kelly Walters here, and as you guys can see, we've got Liz Reedy joining us on the webinar today, and we are going over 24 trends for 2024. Now, this isn't going to be just about garments or apparel decoration. We are going to get into fonts, text, designs, transfers. We're really going to try to cover a large variety of just something or anything that can really help your business for 2024. So without further ado, we're going to launch a presentation. We'll get going through it. You should be able to download this later, or it should be in the files. And then we will try to do some application because there is 24 topics to cover. We're going to try to keep moving as fast as possible. And then please keep in mind, if you have any questions, pop them in the section. That way Shauna on the other end can make sure that we get them answered, or she answers them for you. I feel like my lighting is absolutely crazy right now, so bear with me if I'm trying to get this all figured out. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, 24 trends for 2024. And shockingly enough, we did have to scale it back to 24. We had ample amount of trends that we are seeing.
So just to briefly go over the agenda for the 24 trends, we will be going over trending styles, building your business, the graphic design side of it, and popular heat printing types. I know Kelly and we went back and forth. You know, there were more trends, but we did narrow it down to go with the year for 2024. What the cool thing is that we are kind of in the forefront of this, trying to forecast these trends, because let's be honest, let's be real. You're running your business, life gets busy, personal life gets busy. So we are here to provide those ideas, hopefully to inspire you, build confidence. And so we can go, that's just the agenda. I'm not going to read it word for word. If you want to go to the next slide, Kelly, if you're ready, if you're able to pull it up.
So I'll just let everybody know my, on my end, I can't, all the slides are blank, but I did pull up the PDF. So if I'm kind of like going back and forth, I apologize for one. Just bear with me. This might be the Liz Reedy show here in a second. Okay, so as you can see, the first thing we're going to go over is trending styles. And this is really just all about what we are seeing overall in the market. So as we dive into the first, oh, hey, look, now I can see it. The first one is custom jean jackets. And I will say it's kind of jackets as a whole. I'm noticing more and more and more, but jean jackets from a fashion perspective really started coming back several years ago. And now with the power of heat printing, sports, events, brands, we're throwing lots of logos onto the garment. And that could be placements, that could be a mixture of different types of decoration methods. So the one image that you see right here does have a mixture of Ultracolor Max, which is on the sleeve. Then you've got Sim Stitch for the name. And then the mascot is actually a large embroidered patch. And then we've got the complementary patch as well on the hat. So it's really about personalization and making something a little bit more unique. Now up next, we've got headwear, and this is headwear as a entirety. Everything in terms of headwear, from foam truckers, dad caps. I have seen a lot of satin, corduroy, and velvet really in retail. So for our industry, just be prepared. It's going to start coming more and more, just like those 7-panel caps started to transition into retail. And now I know several brands offer a 7-panel cap in their lineup. So I do know Blank Headwear is already offering a satin cap. And I've seen a couple of others really start to incorporate a corduroy. Velvet, I think, will take just a little bit longer to really move forward with, just knowing that it really is such a specific type of material and trend. Beanies, all day, every day, any time of the year. And then bucket hats. Bucket hats are also very, very niche, but they are definitely prevalent in terms of, what is it? Gen Z? Is that the one under millennial? I don't even know. Anything under a millennial, bucket hats, I feel like, are very, very popular. And that doesn't have to be more of a retail perspective. There's no reason why you can't put a school logo on a bucket hat and just make spirit wear a little bit more fun. Liz, you want to take sets?
Yes, one of my favorites. So next, matching sets. I personally have a few. I know Kelly has a few in her arsenal. So what I've been seeing, especially at recent trade shows, a lot of people coming in matching sweatpants and t-shirts, or a sweatshirt and joggers. So what a neat way to also add that personal touch of personalization. So yeah, your tees, your sweatshirts, your shorts, mixing and matching. We're seeing a lot of that athleisure wear, that grab and go. When you're traveling at the airport, I'm sure many of you have spotted people wearing these types of pieces. They are comfortable, they are trendy. Comfort is not going anywhere. On the weekends, you will see me in a matching set. Anything you want to add to it, Kelly?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things when it comes to set is there's nothing off limits. And what I mean by that is you could be as simple and minimal in terms of decoration, something like you can see in that picture, or one that you'll see here in just a little bit is all over fun placement. So this is really a type of style that can cater to a variety of different markets, as well as demographics and price points. I wasn't going to show, but I am now. So let me grab this set. It is, well, I say that, and I just had it. Okay. Well, if I can find it as I'm scanning. Oh, it's right here. That's what happens when you move things in your office. So Tri-Dry actually sent us some blanks, and we will be decorating on this at our DAX education, but I wanted to show you these really, really affordable pieces, but then they're so trendy and so soft. Let me see if okay, so this is very, very on trend right now. We've got the hood. It is a little bit more cropped, but it's relaxed. And there's tons of different placement opportunities, from the back detail, the hood, the sleeve, the oversized drop shoulder. And then, of course, it's just really, really soft and lightweight. And then it does have the zipper. So I know a lot of people, really talk about dupes from Lululemon or Athleta or Alo. And I don't want to call this a dupe because it's better than a dupe, but it's a great option to then add in shorts, right? So this is an easy way to really kind of make that set work for spring. And then you just have a basic t-shirt, and it can be constantly interchangeable, more about capsule pieces. That way you get more use out of your garments.
Before you move on, we have 2 questions on hats.
Yeah.
The first is from Christina. She says she has a hard time with foam truckers melting. Do you have any tips?
Oh, whoa. My first question is, what's the brand of the trucker? The second question is going to be, what heat press are you using? I feel like this is becoming like a repetitive phrase of mine, is not all material is the same. So I'm like, not all direct to film is the same. Not all poly is the same. It's the same thing with trucker hats. And if you're really looking at that $1 to $3 price point in trucker hats, you're probably going to have some crunching. You're probably going to have a little bit of melting of the poly. So I would, if you can, try to get a whole bunch of different trucker hats in and test the quality and see if you can find a happy medium in terms of still being able to get a really good margin, but then also providing quality. This hat specifically, I had no issues, and I'm sorry, it was hidden in a drawer. This is a foam trucker, and it is a Richardson. And it is a 213. So this one I had no problems with. I have decorated on this one numerous times. And there are a couple of other checkers as well that I think are more of like the value cap. But did she answer what press she has?
She said it's an auto cap hat. Okay. And she has the looks like the 360. So she has the heat on the bottom and the top.
Okay. So I would definitely say, I would love to have a conversation with you just to kind of troubleshoot a little bit, because if the upper and lower temp is not eliminating that kind of melting on the top, then like I'm always up for a good challenge and to see how we can make it stop. So I don't have 100% answer, but at least hopefully we can get like on a better path for you.
I will send Christina your email address.
Perfect. Okay, cool. So sorry, guys, to have a squirrel moment, but I wanted you to see that set from Tri Dry, which you can purchase from Alpha Broder. And then that was a great example of the foam trucker hat. All right, varsity jackets. And Taylor Swift is right there in that image. I will tell you, varsity jackets from the retro perspective are definitely back. And this could be something where we have blinged up for brides. It could be something where it is very, very retail and sports ready. It doesn't have to be in terms of team or, varsity style where you get the jacket from a school perspective. It can be extremely fun. I know we had a triple branded varsity jacket at Impressions, which if you're going to Atlantic City, then you'll be able to see it there as well. Same thing for in Pro Day. We decorated I think it was like $180 blank with 3 different placements of patches. And we were able to bring in a brand from a retail perspective, but make it into something that is really fun, which is the varsity jacket. And I will say that was one of the top probably 4 pieces that people were stopped and questioning like what was going on and just really intrigued by it. So it may not be for everybody. It's definitely going to be a higher price point. Even some basics that are not the true varsity jacket with a leather sleeve, they're still going to be in the 20s, but do not discredit yourself on being able to get a premium on this just because it is very trendy right now.
All over print, our next one. So for some, this might look a little funky at first, but embrace it because this is trending. But the awesome thing about this is nothing is off limits. Placement, location, it's something you can have fun with. The random placements make it even look better. Like Kelly said, with the varsity jacket, it might not be everyone's style coming, for that. This could be another one. But like I said in the beginning, we're here to help forecast those trends for you to kind of like navigate and guide you of like, this is what's coming in the pipeline. So we are seeing a lot of, my daughter's almost 20 and this is exactly something she would wear. It could be even for spirit wear. I could see like the cheerleading squad or dance, like just something that it's the personalization, all the random little prints. Like this might be off topic, but I was a Girl Scout back in the day. And you know how every time you got like a patch, like, you went hiking, you got a patch. Like, I feel like these sets kind of like show a little bit of personality. So that's kind of like my take on it with the all over prints.
That's definitely a great example is the the Girl Scout kind of effect, where it's these placements as like badges of honor, and more brands that are really in this athleisure type of space. It is kind of just doing whatever. So we saw sets that had minimal color, very bold print. There wasn't a lot going on, but they stayed very true to who they were as a brand. Yeah. And something like this is very true as a brand. One place that you can check out is called Queen of Sparkles, and it is a sequin design athleisure. I don't even know what to call it. She does so much, but everything is covered in sequins and typically repetitive of the same patch. But it warrants a very premium price. So just to give you an idea, there will be people out there in the market that will pay for that. So if you are, again, I'm going to go to spirit wear a little bit more. This would be a great way to kind of play with spirit wear. I've seen some of NFL apparel from the last month where they've started doing more all over placements on a sleeve, or even going down, one side of the chest. So it doesn't have to be as extreme. We want to give you the aerial view of it, but you could easily just keep the "Somebody Loves You," that sleeve shoulder print that says "Have a lovely day," and then the yummy and the cupcake down at the hip, right? It can be as extreme as you want or as minimal as you want. Okay, so we've gone over a little bit on style. Now let's go over tools. So this is really all about things that you can implement in your business if you aren't already, or just to even be aware of and kind of start playing or diving into.
Kelly, before you move to tools, a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Gail is asking if you can heat press on the leather sleeve of varsity jackets.
So, good question. I will say I have heat applied to leather before. I think the biggest thing to make a note of is, what is that melting point? And I know it's kind of nerve-wracking to go, I don't want to damage, $180 jacket. So I think the biggest thing that you can do is really, really be cautious in whatever you are applying versus just going straight in at, a 300-degree temp. I've also applied to faux leather, but just like, I'm trying to think, like clear PVC bags. Not all vinyl is the same and can melt. So it's just something that you do have to be cautious with. And sadly, you are going to have to test it, just depending on, every brand is going to have their own quality of leather.
And then one more question. Katie is asking if we have sequin patches in our product lineup.
I wish. I know. Here I am talking about Queen of Sparkles and glitter, and I'm like, I can't help you on that. No, the best thing that I would say is we do have a printable glitter, and we do have a printable chroma twill that can give a really beautiful effect. So if we have some time towards the end, I'll definitely get some samples and let you guys see that. But I would say the printable chroma twill would be more in line with the sequin right now versus the printable glitter, just for how beautiful the chroma twill looks.
I think I'm wearing it.
Oh, you are? Yep. Yep. So Liz has on chroma twill. Let's see.
It'll be hard.
Yeah.
Hey.
Chroma twill, but there is a printable version where you can do full color. But the really cool thing about that is you're going to get a little bit of the twill texture, but the iridescent aspect of it is what makes it really, really beautiful.
Yeah, in person it's really pretty. It's just tough to get, the right angle.
Especially when it's on your body.
Exactly.
All right. So, tools for growth. So the first thing we're going to talk about is EasyView LTE. Now, for those of you that don't know what EasyView is, can you put like a little me in the chat? Because I want to know how deep we should really get into what Easy View is or what we have time allotted for. Transfer Express has a designer called Easy View, not Easy View LT. It's just Easy View that has, I don't know, thousands, Liz, at this point, thousands of templates.
Yes.
And it gives you this customization capability without having to be a graphic artist. It's really remarkable what you can do and create in that. Stahls created Easy View LTE, which is the same design capabilities, but for Ultracolor Max, our direct-to-film transfer. So there's going to be templates in there. Stahls does not offer screen printed transfers at this time. So you would use Easy View LTE to go in, create your own transfers for Ultracolor Max, and then you can order right there on the design platform. There's a lot of me's, right?
Mm-hmm. Quite a few.
Okay. Liz, I'm going to let you take what Easy View as a whole is and just kind of explain that for those that don't know what it is.
So on Transfer Express, for Transfer Express
yes.
side. So I will go over it briefly, but I do want to let you know March 14th, I know it's like a month away, but Dave Connor from Transfer Express Stahls, he will be doing a deeper dive into Easy View Online Designer. So just to give you a quick overview at Transfer Express, it's free. There's no fees to using it. You don't need any type of graphic design experience. You can pull in custom art at the Easy View Designer at Transfer Express, or you can pull in your own, I think I already said custom art, sorry, templates. So the Easy View has thousands of different clip arts and templates and different fonts that you can pull in yourself. But the cool thing about it, one of my favorite features is the mock-up. So when you're completed with your design, there's an integrated mock-up tool where you can like add a fun background, something very modern or, or plain, and you can show your customer before you place the order, just if there's any corrections. It's a great way to communicate to your customer, hey, this is what we've created, yay or nay. All right, let's submit the order. So that's just, it is a lot. And I see some of you saying, I haven't had time to really dive deep. So in March, I think it's the 14th, Dave will, I know a lot of you know Dave. He's very enthusiastic. It's his wheelhouse. So mark your calendar for March 14th.
Yeah, there's really just so much that you can do in that platform. So it's really hard to cover it in a couple minutes span. But like Liz said, there's just so much customization that you can really do inside of it. And it is free as long as you've registered with Transfer Express, and same for Stahls.
I just put the link to that webinar in the chat for everyone.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Shauna. Tags and branding. So this one is, I feel like it's one of those topics where people have like jumped on it full force and everything is tagged, or they're slowly getting into it. So the one thing I just want to say to keep in mind is that when you put your logo inside of a garment, you've now branded that logo. And when somebody's like, oh, I love that t-shirt, or I need tees, who do you recommend? Your name is now in that, whether it is on the sleeve, inside the sleeve, the back neck. You could go as detailed as putting the washing instructions, or simply just put your brand name somewhere in that garment so people know who made the shirt. They love the quality, gives them a way to come and find you. Events and activations. I can't stress enough how big pop-ups are right now when it comes to concerts, festivals, a fair, like oh my gosh, what's the word I'm thinking? Like decoration fairs, craft fairs, events, concerts. I think I already said, the ability to essentially go up to a station and create your own t-shirt is huge, and it definitely warrants a premium. Now, there are some people that their business is built on events and they have an entire station that really travels around with them. And then more and more people are being asked to attend an event to do customization for name and number, or do customization where they've got 3 different types of shirts and 2 different logos to choose from, and people can kind of really do, a customization. The images that you're seeing here are from our Printing United activation in Atlanta, and we did a record shop, and there were 2 shirts. There was a t-shirt and a sweatshirt available, and there wasn't really a whole lot of customization going on, but people were able to watch the experience and get this item for free. Now, from a business perspective, they would not get it for free unless somebody was paying you and for your time and the supplies to be there. But a shirt that you might sell for $20, you could easily turn around and sell for $25, $28, simply because they picked it out at the show and they were able to get it. So if that's something you want to get into, just keep in mind all you need are blank items, transfers, and a heat press. They do not have to be pre-applied beforehand. And by not pre-applying, it allows you to take those blanks that weren't used and utilize those in a different area. So you don't have merchandise that is just sitting with a useless logo on it after the show. Company stores. So this goes hand in hand with events and activations. When you run out at an event or activation, how is somebody going to buy? By having a company store there, whether it's yours, whether it is your customers, this gives them the ability to go in and still purchase with you and kind of get that, on-site experience. But you know what? They missed out. You ran out, and yet they can still have the opportunity to get that merchandise. So with company stores, it doesn't have to be just a company, right? It could be an event. It could be a pop-up for a holiday. It could be something that you release for 2 weeks, capture all of those sales, and then fulfill after that, whether it is specifically for you or a client. The biggest thing is when you have that sold out mentality, you are creating the urgency and the FOMO. And by having a site or a store, it gives them a solution to be able to go and fulfill that want or need. And you're still able to make more money, right? More sales, the better. One of the last ones in terms of tools, which is a touchy subject, is the word phrase I wanted to use. Don't think of AI just for art. AI can help with branding. AI can help with marketing templates. AI can help with email phrasing. It can help you do mock-ups. And one thing that I absolutely love is that AI can help you with product descriptions. So if you're not quite sure what to call, 100% cotton Gildan basic shirt, and you want something a little bit more, fancy to represent such a basic item, AI is great to come in and support that and kind of paint a picture without you having to be an expert in description words on how to describe a blank. The other thing that one of the podcasts I just did, I know people have had AI write an email in terms of proof mock-ups, as well as not so friendly emails, like, hey, that you've got to make sure that you follow this process in order to stay on our timeline. So it's a great way to have an assistant that isn't just for art purposes. If you are somebody that very, very much prides yourself in art, which is fantastic, just know there's other ways to use it. You want to take Ego?
Yeah. So
Before you start, there's a couple of questions.
Yep.
So Carr is asking, how important is it to include washing instructions along with a logo?
In terms of tagging?
I'm guessing that's
Yes,
exactly
okay.
what it would have been. Yep.
So there is a law. I don't know the whole ins and outs of it. I know we've got it somewhere. Actually, I think it's in the branding guide that was just released late last week. So you can go to stahls.com and download the branding guide. But there is a law where you have to state the material content of the item. So if you are keeping a tag in there that has that, and then you're putting your logo in there, it's up to the consumer to remove that information. But as a business, you have to provide the material context and how to take care of that item.
And then where can listeners find your podcast?
Anywhere podcasts are streamed. That's it's called the Heat Press for Profit podcast. It is a Stahls and Stahls Transfer Express podcast where we interview really people in our decorating community, from artists to business owners to people in marketing, influencers, ambassadors, blank garment manufacturers. Like, we really try to dive into different types of conversations. I have our guest this week her name is Danny, and she's really created a premium product with rip away applique and embroidery. And it's just a really unique product. So we'll be interviewing her and kind of getting her perspective on kind of how she came into this niche, and really standing by her price point as well.
And then kind of an off transfer question. Pamela is asking, what was used to display the transfers at the record event?
I got to back up.
I'm like, is it those record things?
Okay, so if you are asking about this back wall, those are actual records. So the transfers you can't really see, but they are next to the press. So when there's blank items, it's just grab the transfer and the blank. But a lot of people I know will use boxes, and they'll take the shirt and they'll wrap the shirt around the box. That way it can stand freely, or just put it on a hanger and kind of do something like this shirt is in the background, so people can just see what it really is. I hope that answers the question. Clicking through them. Okay, eco-friendly.
All right, so eco-friendly messaging. For some of you watching, this might be very important to you. And one of the key facts here is, creating garments that people will want to wear. I have spoken to many customers talking about waste, and what we mean by that, having less waste within your organization, is I've walked into businesses and they would have stacks of t-shirts. They're like, no one's buying these, or no one's buying this type of sweatshirt, or, and what do you end up doing with that? So one key factor is knowing, everyone's in different demographics, is understanding, like, who are your customers? If you're specifically working with schools, you're going to have, your red, your black, your purple, your yellow, different t-shirts and sweatshirts and, things for spirit wear. And I think this is a great way, to message for your business that, save the turtles, creating awareness for your organization. So if this is something that's, that's important to you, this kind of ties along with, keeping up with the trends, because if you're stocking items that were maybe trending 2, 3, 4 years ago, and the things with this industry, it moves fast. Personally, I think since 2020, it's like, wait, I'm still stuck in the 80s. I'm still trying to find 80s wear, people. Now we're talking like Y2K and 2000s. Like, I do not have the budget for this. So this is kind of like, we incorporated this slide to help, eliminate waste within your stock.
The other thing to kind of keep in mind is, if you're working with a customer and they are budget friendly, right? You got to stay on a certain price point, and by asking questions as to why, but with a kindness, right, and understanding the budget, it can also give you a little bit of flexibility to kind of mention, this is what we're really seeing trending. It's a little bit more, but our customers absolutely love wearing this piece. So if you know that one is more hitting just all about the budget, but the other one that's just a little bit more, we want people to want to wear their products. And that does go along with less waste. The eco-friendly messaging is being able to keep less throwaway garments, that one-time use, or I got this from my corporation, but I can't stand how it feels. Start recommending just a little bit more quality from the idea of less waste and overall awareness in the company actually wanting to wear the garments that they're, giving their employees. Okay, fun one, graphic design. So as we get into the next two categories, you're going to notice some of the things that we're going over you've already seen on some of those examples of the style or the trends. And then same thing for the transfers that we're going to go over. Everything's going to kind of start to tie together, which is a great way to really show that this is really what we're seeing in the market. We just didn't pull this out of thin air. And when you make those little notes and you start paying attention to them, you're going to notice them in retail stores. You're going to notice them in big box. You're going to notice them, with what the NFL players are, wearing out and about. And I say that because the Super Bowl did just happen. So let's get into the graphic design. Liz, you want to take typography?
Absolutely. So the two types of font that we're seeing is your bold font and then your wavy text. And if you notice in the center of the screen, the layout, it's a good day to have a good day. That is actually from Easy View LTE, and it gives you the layout number. So this kind of gives you an idea of where do I even find this? I'm not a graphic designer. Boom. You have the code right there, type it in, and then you can change the color, the size. I'm going to give a little shout out. Go Cavs. I live in Cleveland, so Cavaliers all the way, baby. Let's go. The Browns didn't make it. There's always next year. So if anyone from Ohio, Cleveland area, let's go. So yeah, that bold font, whether it's something for your sports team or, a simple saying like coffee first or, whatever it is, just I'm seeing a ton of it, especially here, out in Cleveland. And then the wavy text, it's fun. It's different.
So then if you see that Cleveland Cavaliers basketball, and you rewind back to the sweats picture, that was nice and bold, simple text. And then you will see wavy a little bit more, but it's just something to keep in mind that bold is great. The calligraphy script is still there. It's just not as popular as that bold, nice, clean font. So as you are designing, minimalism is definitely back, but we're going to get a little fun here in just a little bit by adding some more pieces. So repeated words, just like on this font, right? You've got your Detroit, which is nice and clean in that repeat, but then you do have a slightly different type of text, which is going to be the script. But you're still incorporating that nice, clean, bold font that is behind it. Now, repeated words could be teams. You could do stacked. You could do them to where it kind of looks like it has a fade or a gradient. But this is a great way to really drive in what people are looking at. So whether it's from a team perspective or a retail perspective, I know I've seen Barbie, right? And that was one that I've seen stacked, I think, inside of Target. So it's a very simple design. This is definitely more towards spirit wear, in my opinion. But again, it's really kind of covering, again, the minimal, but then mixed with the repetitive words.
All right, we've got organic and natural elements. This one, I don't know, it's very eye-catching to me. I think there's something so pretty. I don't know if pretty, beautiful, cool. I don't know what word to use. It's just, it's got that tonal look to it. So what we mean by the organic and natural elements, as you can see in the image that we have, it could be minimal or it can be bold, but it's just, you know, whether it's tree or flowers, it's earthy, you know. It sounds like weird me explaining it, but it's, I'm seeing this a lot. God love our Gen Z. I have a Gen Z kid, but this is what they wear, the oversized t-shirt with this bold print. And it's not a very busy design. It's very natural looking. Kelly, do you want to, I know you loved this slide as well.
I did. And there's just something that is fresh about it. You know, and I don't know, this is where the psychology of art really kind of intrigues me. You know, I don't know if it's because it's natural elements, if it's the colors, those are a little bit more common colors. They're not high in contrast. But the cool thing is it could be floral, it could be vines, it could be leaves, it could be plants. And then you can get as basic or as colorful as you would like with the natural elements, and especially the way the, what was it, the 2020, what year we were, 24. So 2023 winter Pantone colors were, you saw the olives, you saw the navy, you saw the rust, you saw kind of like this mustard, and then a cream. So as we see those colors in retail, we're going to start to see them, you know, more and more in graphics as well, even if they're not the colors of a, brand's logo. There is some flexibility in adjusting to whatever trend is going on. Not every business is like that, but it is there. So my press was on and then it turned off. So I'm going to wait for it to heat up because I do have a couple of things to apply that really tie in our graphic design and our transfers.
While you're waiting, Kelly, there's a couple of questions.
Cool.
So I just want to let everybody know that, yes, the webinar will be sent out. The full recording of the webinar will be sent out 24 hours after the webinar ends. All right. First question is, can you talk about the requirements to decorate Nike, Adidas, etc.? Those name brands.
So when it comes to name brands like that, I don't know the ins and outs of every single brand. And I believe each brand might be a little different. So for example, I know with North Face, if you are decorating on one of those garments, then a logo has to be in a specific location. That was several years ago. I don't know if it has morphed and changed different now. With Sanmar and some of the brands, you do have to be an authorized decorator to print on some of those blanks. Adidas is a little bit easier to get with SNS. Same thing with Nike from Sanmar. But when you get more into, I'm just going to call them premium brands, which anymore, each brand kind of has their own level of affordability and premium. But whenever you are purchasing those blanks, so if you're purchasing them from SNS or Sanmar, there will be a notification on like, hey, if you are ordering these, then you need to make sure that you're following the instructions or the guidelines, which they should be able to then present to you if they are able to sell them to you. Let's see. I saw, is there a place to find more info on the company's store? Oh, there we go. Okay. No, I was thinking that was going to be from them. So I wish I had a better answer for that. Now I'm going to be intrigued to find a better answer, but just know that there are some brands that are going to have specific requirements.
Okay. Next question. The wavy hoodie, what transfer was used to do that?
So Ultra Color Max is going to be your best transfer on something like that when there's a color gradient or shift ombre kind of effect. Ultra Color Max gives you the ability to do a 1 color or the 200 color type of artwork. So really get that photorealistic type of quality, which gives you a lot of depth and color. on something like that, you could easily do a screen printed transfer. You could easily do heat transfer vinyl, but the directive to film, you don't have to worry about the color variations, even if it's by, a tiny smidge.
2 more quick questions. Jason is asking, can you print on plastic substrates with any of our materials?
Ooh, I need to know more about plastic, because faux leather, I believe, would technically be considered as plastic. Same thing for vinyl, like vinyl signs. I know you can heat print on. So go a little bit deeper into the word plastic for me, and I can hopefully answer it.
And then last question before you guys can move on. This customer, Jason, has been getting requests for CAD puff heat transfer. Have you been able to do multicolor images?
Ooh, you cannot. So the thing about puff products is it needs to be the last and final step. You hit it again and you're going to flatten that puff. It may not be flat like, say, ultra weed would be on a shirt, but you're going to use that kind of like dome sphere look that puff can give you. My best recommendation would be to, if it's going to be separation of designs, right? So I'm going to use that sweatsuit at the very beginning with all over. Let's say you were doing flowers all over it. One flower was a different color, one flower was another. That application would have to be done all at the same time, not one press pops up, peel, apply the second color. Nerf hoop set.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jason followed up with plastic like a backboard on a Nerf hoop set.
Man, that's a good one. What's the melting point? So PVC, right? Every PVC is different. Like I said, guys, that's like a standard phrase for me right now. You can heat apply PVC just like a cooler. There's certain coolers that you can heat apply. It's just all about protecting that inner plastic piece. Now, to the backboard, if it is plastic, I would almost just do a decal sticker versus sticking it under a heat press. If it is something that can withstand heat, which then you would have to test what the melting point of it is, sure, apply. I've done some pretty weird things with heat transfer vinyl and random, I don't even know what to call it, accessories, hard goods. But on something like that, for time and energy and preparation for trial and error, it's going to be 10 times easier just to do a pill and stick of some sort of decal. And it looks like Laura said, if it is PVC or ABS, heating it will produce toxic fumes. So I am sure there's got to be a requirement with certain PVC and ABS on what's considered toxic, especially where you're getting it from. But again, I am not a plastics major, nor know the engineering behind it. Multicolor design and add a puff print on top of it. Yes, you can. Oh, wait. So is that Carolee? I'm taking over Shauna's job. Okay, so the next question is, can you do a multicolor design and add puff print on top of that? You can. My best recommendation is to still have a garment show through when it comes to puff. I wish I had a really good puff example, but I don't. Puff is basically going to grab onto that garment and pull it up. So if you turn it inside out, you can almost see a beveled kind of look, or not beveled, debossed, right? Is that when that goes in? Debossed is going in. Anyway, you can see that the material is pulling the textile fibers to help make that material puff. So if you put a layer of, say, vinyl under it, it's going to puff. It's just not going to puff maybe the way that it could fully. I've done both ways, and I do think it's better to have a gap show through of your garment or your textile, whatever those fibers can be that grab onto that puff. I do think it's better. How am I gosh, I really wish that I could just like share this question, but I can't. First statement. Emma said every time I've tried puff, it ended up looking like a toad's back. That's an incredible description, and we are definitely going to go over time today. But the toad's back, a lot of things can be moisture as well as
Pressure.
Pressure. I was going to say really accurate pressure. And I have even experienced that some colors like different things. So when you can get it the sweet spot, it's going to be beautiful and not a toad's back. But I believe when it looks like a toad's back, it is over pressured. I know there is some recommendations in our Heat Press for Profit group on Facebook, really kind of addressing puff. But it does like to throw some tantrums, but it's a really cool product. Okay, let's move on.
16. Smaller. Oh,
for it, Liz. It's all you, girl.
Smaller left chest prints. So we know that the standard size is typically a 4x4, give or take. So we've been seeing a lot more just smaller logos in place of your standard. So 2x2, like I said, always give and take. But what we're also seeing is that same logo in multiple places, not just on the left chest. We're seeing like on the cuff of a hoodie, on the back of the neck, on the hood, on the hip. So it's honestly, if I can be frank, it is a free for all with placement.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to put it out there. I know you hear us say the word placement. If we had a clicker, we'd probably say it like 50 times in a webinar, maybe more, but it really is, there is no limit. But how fun is that? There is no scale or this this rule book that says standard placement for a chest block. Have fun with it. Now you can really express yourself and have the freedom and capability to do whatever you want to make the customer happy. So we'll go on to the next slide because I'm sure we're maybe a little pressed for time. Yeah.
Always.
Always.
I need 24 topics in 24 minutes. 24 topics in an hour is going to be pretty difficult. So popular apparel decoration. This is when we get into the transfers and really what we're seeing in terms of combination. Right there in that San Diego design, that is another color of our chroma twill. And as you can see, you are getting kind of the fibers of twill. So there's a little bit of texture to it, but it's just got this beautiful opalescent kind of shift to it that really makes it a unique material. But you guys, one thing that I love is that it's a layerable material, meaning you can layer materials on top of chroma twill and you can put chroma twill on top of other materials. So for those that really want to get creative in mixed media, you can come up with some really, really cool designs that add just a little bit of a pop without going, say, really too blingy with something like metallic or even glitter flake. Okay, so popular decoration is Ultra Color Max direct to film. Not all direct to film is the same. Whether you have a printer and you're creating it yourself, printing it yourself, you're ordering it from one company, ordering it from another, they are not all the same. The chemical makeup is different. The application is going to be different. So if you are having a hiccup anywhere and you're using one company, then I do urge you to give a shot with another company and just really keep in mind the capabilities of direct to film, meaning you can do personalizations, you can do one-offs because you're printing each individual logo and you can really get that full color capability. So I am going to apply, let's see if I can figure out how to stop the slide. Okay, so I am going to wiggle this over here. So the first one we're going to do is Ultra Color Max. This is really kind of hitting on that organic and natural element. Just bloom, it's got flowers, and then of course we've got a whole bunch of color in this. I'm going to decorate on a bag. Switch out my platen really fast. And then I am going to open and thread. Now I am going to pre-press this because this is a wrinkled bag and I want to see what my pressure is at. Ooh, out of nothing. Okay. Now I've pre-pressed multiple times, so we should be good to go at this point. Let's see where we're at. And I am back to 15 seconds. So I'm going to find the center of my design by folding it in half. Crease it at the top. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to step in front. And I don't need a cover sheet with this direct-to-film transfer. You can definitely use one, but just know it is not a requirement. Just like some of the other transfers, you might need, say, sublimation transfer. If you are going back on top of sublimation, then ink can actually go to whatever you're applying. Oh, we had an oopsie. But I'm kind of rushing, so bear with me, no judgments today. But just to give you an idea on what this looks like, because of the direct-to-film itself, these look very photorealistic, and the colors are beautiful, even though it's on a dark material. It's curious as to why that little guy, failed on me, but that's okay. We're not going to figure it out right now. All right, so let's get back to it.
I can take the next one, Kelly.
Go for it.
Mixed media, so much fun. As you can see in this image, we didn't press this, but as you can see, the word France, you could use in our vinyl glitter flake at Stahls, and then you could use Ultra Color Max. So we're seeing those mixed elements, whether it's like a vinyl and glitter flake together, or Ultra Color Max and glitter flake, a regular vinyl such as Ultra Weed and metallic. So you can see the examples there. It just gives it a different, it's eye-catching, and also it stands out from your regular print. So, don't be surprised if you start having customers asking, hey, I saw this image on Etsy or Instagram, Facebook, whatever social media page. And it's fun and it's creativity. I love this design. It definitely caught my eye when we were looking at images. I love Glitter Flake, probably one of my absolute favorite vinyls from Stahls. And then there was a question. We can stop real quick for a question. Someone asked, Kelly, the image of the USA in the background, is that chenille with Glitter Flake?
It is actually just chenille.
Okay.
There is a gold and silver option to give you that glitter backing, which is what that is. And I'll pull that out in just a little bit. Just a little bit. It's like, I feel like there should be something after that, but there's not. So I'm going to do a version of mixed media with, again, Ultra Color Max. And we are going to do an all over placement of some stars around it. Now, this is going to be Glitter Flake. And what I did was just create and cut some stars, different sizes, different materials. That way I had a nice assortment. This is what I have left back from another project. But the cool thing is it was dropped everything.
A couple questions while you're getting that. From Carolee, can you mix different glitter flake colors in one design?
Yes, you just cannot layer them. They have to be on a material or a textile that can be layered. So you could do, say, Glitter Flake on top of Ultra Weed or Chroma Twill, but you cannot do Glitter Flake on Glitter Flake. So if you're going to do multiple colors, then it has to be kind of scattered throughout.
And then Amy has asked if you can apply Stahls HTV to glass.
Oh. why would we want to apply to glass? And I mean that like in the nicest way possible, like help me understand so I can see if there's something that would be better. Okay, so the transfer I'm going to use while we're waiting on that, look, it's block and it's repeat. Yay. Okay, so that hit on several of our trends, plus it is direct to film. So there's 3 trends and 1 on this. Now, what we're going to do, this is going to be a little bit further down, is I'm going to apply this for the full time, and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to add my glitter flake stars around it. So like I said, I've got glitter flake, different sizes. I've also got white. I've got an outline, and I got a couple of small ones. Now, glitter flake is going to be a hot peel. And then I'm just going to go in and start putting basically our stars wherever we want. Let's see. Now, normally I would have this a little bit more planned out than what I do right at this moment, but sometimes it's really fun to see everything that you can create. Now, the other thing I would recommend is when it comes to layering on Ultra Color Max, I would recommend making sure that the majority of the garment is adhering to whatever that next transfer is. I have had experience where transfers have failed layering on top of Ultra Color Max. The thicker seem to be the ones that typically peel a little bit more, where metallic looks beautiful on Ultra Color Max. But at the end of the day, my goal is to create something like this that's going to be a premium price, is going to be high quality, and is going to last. So the best thing that you can do is just create some gaps, or just do your own wash testing and see what you need to do. The other thing is maybe remove the text and then keep just the, I don't even know what to call that, the Spartan in there. Now I do want my cover sheet for this one. And this is going to protect the Ultra Color Max with the top of the heating element. And then it just protect, I do have one glitter flake star on there that was free. It didn't have a carrier on there.
Gail is asking if glitter flake or anything can be layered on top of DTF.
So, kind of restating what I kind of touched on it. I have not found great success in layering on top of direct-to-film. That's Ultra Color Max specifically. However, I have put metallic on top of Ultra Color Max, and it was fine, but we do all of our wash testing to give you what the washability is with instructions on our website. So when it says 50 washes and dries, that's the cap that we stop testing. So whenever we get a little bit more creative in determining what you can actually layer on top of, if it is not recommended, stated on the website, know that we haven't done the wash testing. It's just experience that we've gone through. So just like I tell anybody, test it. If there's a will, there's a way. If it works and it goes through the washability for you, then incredible. That's awesome. Let us know, and we can say so-and-so's doing it. But at this point in time, I can't say yes because we've not done it, completely tested. So here is kind of that mixed design. We do have a little bit of tonal going on, but that Spartan head really pops. And then now we've added some random placement with the stars. We've capitalized on the glitter flake, the mixed media, the direct to film, as well as that block and repeat text.
That looks pretty awesome, Kelly.
Thanks.
So Amy followed up and she said she wants to decorate glass, but with vinyl. Would look like a picture frame. There would be cardstock on the inside. And then on the outside, there would be vinyl on the glass to make it look lifted. And she said she would be using a heat gun and not a press. That won't work with our heat transfer vinyl because you need the pressure.
Yeah. And again, I would go to decal material. There's some really awesome decal material out there. That's the route that I would go.
Yeah.
Pill and stick. Okay, let's get back. We're almost done, guys. Hang in there.
Home stretch.
Okay, there you go. Texture, chenille, and leather. So texture is huge, from flock to chenille or leather, faux suede. The more texture, the better. And it's really funny. Like, if you were to think about, 8 years ago, we wanted the thinnest material possible on a shirt. And now we're like, give us all the texture. We still want thin, but we want to really know that there is a logo on our item. So for the question about chenille, there you go. Let's see if we can get it. So that is metallic silver glitter as the layer behind it. And then you've got the chenille. Now, we weren't able to get high detail of the stars, but I'm pretty sure we all know what those are supposed to be. Chenille is huge. And I will also say leather is still extremely big, especially faux suede. That gives you kind of that color capability. It's extremely smooth and soft, but it will kind of mimic genuine or faux leather, but with some coloring on it. Flock as an HTV is also a great material to work with. This is flock on flock. And this is an easy way to get texture without the high price of, say, chenille. So you're still able to create some type of, retro or fun look. We could easily do something similar like the USA with flock. It's just not going to be as high piled as what chenille truly is. Okay. Dimension, PVC, puff, and another one that I didn't put on there is soft foam. PVC is going to be your premium, your elite when it comes to patches and emblems. This is kind of an HTV mentality when it comes to art. You got to think about it in terms of colors. We couldn't do a rainbow on there without having to charge really kind of per color, where other flex style, other embroidered patches, it's, really kind of comes down to the design. PVC, you can't get high detail, but you can get high dimension. So when you are looking at one over the other and you're working with a customer and they're like, I have this really cool design, but I want PVC. What's important to them? Are they really wanting to bring that design to life, or are they just wanting it to be a nice, thick logo? And that's where you can kind of figure out which transfer is best for them. We talked a little bit about puff, some of the pros, some of the cons. And if you want something that's a little bit easier to work with, but it's not going to be as puff, is what is called soft foam. It's a material you can layer. We've done a ton of videos with soft foam. If you've been to any of our shows, then you have seen soft foam in person as well. Same thing for flock. Last but not least, Liz, do you want to take this one?
Sure. So these images you see were applied with a heat press. So our embroidered patches, and if you've attended other webinars or trade shows, you've seen our embroidered patches on display. Stitched twill, sports stitch, some newer ones. Did you pull we can go ahead and take this slide off of the screen, and we can hold up samples just so see a live sample, because I have one of our traditional.
And that's with felt on top. So you're going to have twill on the bottom, felt on top. And then you've got matching stitching. This is, let's see, twill on twill. Will you put me on the, Shauna? So this is another option. This is heat applied. So it is actually stitched on to each other. But then when you go to apply it, it is 100% heat applied. You do not need to stitch it on. But for those, one of the biggest questions that I would see at shows would be, my customer wants twill, but they want it stitched. They want to see the stitch. They want to associate that embroidered or anything embroidered, anything stitched on is of a higher quality. And it's not necessarily, it's just a different type of decoration. So with this, you can give them that true stitched on twill look, but it is heat applied. So if you do not have embroidery equipment, you can still create that same look. And the image that was shown was a contrast stitching. So it was just solid twill, black with a white stitch, which kind of gave this multicolor look and effect. It's max 2 layers, but you can get creative with your stitching. So your bottom twill could be one color with a contrasting stitch. Then your top layer of twill could be another color with a completely different color of stitch. And it almost looks like it's 4 different colors. So in terms of products and decoration methods, we've seen texture, we've seen dimension. Those are not going anywhere from vinyl to patches and emblems. We have seen mixed media to really create a unique effect. And then we have seen the twill capabilities really kind of come back, especially with the matching of chenille on varsity jackets, right? You'll see that the trends kind of all start to correlate with each other. And now that you've seen all of these, you will probably start to notice them more and more in retail spaces or with what your customers are asking for. Any other questions, Shauna?
Yeah, we do have a bunch of questions. So I dropped some information and people were asking about acrylic beanies. That could be a whole webinar itself. So I dropped a bunch of information on our YouTube channel that is specific to beanies and acrylic beanies. Does chenille have good washability on apparel?
Is it 25 or 50?
I believe 25, but I was going to confirm.
So it's not going to be as, I don't like the word durable in that context, but it's not going to have the longevity per se like standard twill would. But the way I would kind of preface this is, if you're putting chenille on something, you're probably not going to put it on a t-shirt, right? And that t-shirt's going to get washed over and over and over again. If you're putting chenille on a denim jacket or a varsity jacket or a sweatshirt, a full zip, I would love to see a survey about how often people really wash their jackets and sweatshirts. So the longevity might stay there. It's just if they're needing to wash it every single week, there's just always going to be the pro and con of that.
And it is 25 washes. Jason is asking, can chenille adhere to the leather sleeves on the varsity jackets?
I haven't tested it. It's a cotton poly adhesive. So TBD, to be determined on that one. Leather's kind of its own little world.
Gail is asking, is the Flock Wildcats shirt layered? And does Flock only come one color at a time?
Yes and yes. So this is in fact layered. So it was black design down first, very minimal weeding on that. And then the red went right on top of that, no garment show through. So that's one of the cool things about Flock, that you can do layer on layer. Now for the paw, that is not layer on layer. That is red is on the garment, black is on the garment. And that's just how the design kind of worked out.
Can you do custom patterns with chenille letters?
No, not at this time. Hold. So this is about as pattern as you can get at this time. So you could do a camo pattern. When I think of patterns, a lot of times I think of like tie-dye, something that's got a lot of detail. So yes, you can do some pattern, just know you can't get super detailed. There's only a certain number of material colors that you could have in here. Yeah. And I mean, like, this is a really high pile, and it's a soft chenille. So you can't just get too detailed. Lost it.
Okay. So it's 3:15.
Yep.
We're 15 minutes over our time. So
That's it.
yep. We're wrapping up.
Done. If you guys have any questions, you know that you can reach out to us. You can find us on social media. I already touched on it, but if you're not in the Heat Press for Profit group on Facebook, go get in there. We're a giant community, and it's really your peers helping you out. We definitely will chime in and give recommendations, but you're really getting a lot of answers and recommendations from people that are, in the business just like you are. Follow us on social media, and then you guys know we've got that podcast tomorrow, so you can see me live on there. Liz will be doing our next webinar, so you guys will have a date with her in March.
Looking forward to it. And someone saying, see you at DAX Kansas City. I'll be at DAX Minnesota in March.
Who said that? I'll see you soon. See you next week.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.